summer saw Frightfest, the UK's leading horror film festival, where producers, directors, actors and film lovers came together to share their love for the horror genre. So I reached out to fans and filmmakers to find out just what their favourite films were.
There's one that I'm not mentioning it for how good it is, I'm mentioning it for how bad, but so bad that it's good. It's a Sadako versus Kayako. Basically Ring versus Grudge. Kim first told me about it and I initially thought, oh my god, what a bad idea. But it's one of those, I gotta see it, and it didn't disappoint.
What have I liked so far out of the 70 films I've seen? I like Director's Cut, I liked The Love Witch, I liked The Master Cleanse, Het, Mercy, a whole bunch of others, many with evil in the title, or featuring the devil, or involving tentacles.
My standout films this year, for one thing, I loved An Unkindness of Ravens by Laurie Brewster. I thought it had a delicious mixture of truly kind of nightmarish imagery, particularly stuff that's repetitive, but also shot through with a type of humour which people might think is just to kind of allay the tone a bit, but it's actually how people do experience PTSD. And I thought the central performances were absolutely fantastic, and considering the kind of budget it's been shot on, brilliant, and also because of the way it's funded, it shows that there is actually a future in that sense for indie cinema.
Best film that I've seen so far at this festival has to be Pet. For reasons I can't really go into, because you think it's one film, it ain't. It's a completely different ball game. And sadly, you're only going to see it until February, but trust me, it's going to be worth the fucking wait.
This year, it's my first Frightfest. I've never been before, and I'm loving it. Stuck in films all day, which is a good thing. But then there's meeting people like Scott and all these other cool people outside of that, so that makes me pretty happy.
Oh, cool! And this is my first full weekend, so it's a hell of a length to do and everything. But yeah, films have been really good so far. Had some great stuff. My favourite isn't even a horror film yet. Jack Robot.
Oh so, yes, my favourite too.
That's pretty amazing.
Egomaniac, which was about a female director trying to get her film made and the difficulties she had. So it was based on a lot of her own real experiences and stuff. And it was very funny and I thought very well done. And I could see that a lot of kind of her personal feelings went into it as well.
This year now, normally the psychological thrillers are our best ones, which we've been getting more and more of as the last couple of years. It's coming into fashion. But this year it was really 31's year, I think. It was, yeah, needed something gory.
You saved the best you last. I really like Train to Busan. However it pronounce it. Because it had that human element to the drama as well. So it's more than just zombies ripping each other apart. You end up caring about the characters, about their stories. It's a really good father-daughter relationship. And I found it quite a powerful film to watch.
Red Christmas, which was amazing, absolutely wonderful, intelligent horror, which I'm really passionate about. Something that takes the horror tropes, but really adds a very interesting social question. Cruel Summer was one of my other standouts, because it was just, again, social commentary, but very, very harrowing.
Well, for me, there was two standout movies this year, and it was The Devil's Candy, with the director of The Loved Ones, which I absolutely thought was amazing, and the last movie, Train to Busan, which they were the standouts for me. But I also really liked Beyond the Gates and Found Footage 3D.
My movie is called Beyond the Gates. It's about two estranged brothers who reunite to liquidate their missing father's video store. And while they're there, they find a VCR board game that may or may not have something to do with his disappearance.
I understand that you worked under Stuart Gordon.
Yes. I was an assistant for him, and I did script coverage for Stuart for a little while, and then moved over to Supernatural, the CW program, pretty quickly after that. I have a project with Blumhouse coming out in December called 12 Deadly Days that I wrote an episode of. Joe Lynch is directing the pilot, and it's my episode is about a guy who gets turned into a reindeer, so it's a bit of a American Werewolf in London mixed with Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. And then I have just some other scripts I'm working on and a sequel to Beyond the Gates.
I really like it because it feels a lot more immersive than seeing a normal horror film at the cinema, because a lot of people come along and are really enthusiastic and clapping and cheering at good scenes, and you get a much better atmosphere.
Right now, I'm actually caught in the soundscape. It's a surprise, spontaneous soundscape, which I have no idea what happened when I stepped into this very spot. So if you look down, I should have known. It's like following the magic brick road. It's a very exciting story. So I'm just in front of one of the tortured Horror Channel hearts. And I believe there's 7 of them scattered about, all being tortured in various ways.
I'm Chris Griffiths, the director of the upcoming documentary You're So Cool, Brewster, the story of Fright Night.
I'm Gary Smart, I'm the producer and writer of You're So Cool, Brewster, the story of Fright Night, also of Leviathan, the story of Hellraiser, and the book Trucks and 245.
It's always a good platform here to sort of showcase your material, so again, the response we want, so fingers crossed we'll make the sales.
So this is our documentary Leviathan, the story of Hellraiser and Hellbound Hellraiser 2. It's a documentary on the making of those 2 movies, which were made in 1987 and 88. It's 9 hours long. Completely goes into detail about the making of the film, into the cast and crew, and the legacy of that film as well.
What about Clive Barker? What was his involvement in this?
Clive's involved, unfortunately, because obviously Clive's not well. Clive's involved completely with regards to his blessing. He's watched the documentary, he was on board with us with regards to the making of it, so he's fully supported the documentary, and obviously having him support us and his blessing as well opened doors for us with regards to other members of the cast and crew. We also went to Clive Barker's house and we interviewed his partner Johnny Raymond. Clive obviously authorised and sanctioned that about Clive's artwork, so he's really much kind of like that kind of overshadow of the documentary where he's really supporting us, and without him obviously this would never have been in the first place.
I'm Stephen DeGennaro, director of the movie called Found Footage 3D.
I produced it. I'm Charles Mulford. I acted.
And you are?
Scott Perry. That's me.
Scott Allen Perry.
Yeah. It's a SAG thing.
The other Scott Perry.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about your film.
It's a movie, it's a found footage movie where the cast is going to make the first found footage movie in 3D, and they end up in a found footage movie that's in 3D. It's pretty fun.
It's very meta. It's kind of Scream meets the Blair Witch Project, or that's at least what we were going for.
I think this is my 8th or 9th year now, so I'm pretty much regular now. It's basically just the best place to come and see horror movies. I mean, you're seeing a wide diversity of different films from different countries, and you're just with this brilliant, appreciative crowd that sort of knows their stuff, they're very approachable and always willing to discuss them. So not only do you get to see really good films, you also get to share it with people who love them as much as you do.
I first started coming to Frightfest in 2009, working here I'm a freelance video editor, and I was hired to assemble a daily video podcast. Every film, every day has guests, most films anyway, directors and cast and crew, and we'll interview them and we'll show other, occasionally someone will come dressed as a zombie or an alien or whatever, and I would have to edit it together and try and get a flavour of the day of the festival. And I started doing that in 2009, and I did it the next year and the next year, and every year. I skipped last year and now I'm back.
I've actually come to every single Frightfest every year that's been happening. Even when I was shooting my film, I could only come for one day one year besides actually shooting a movie, but I still came for that one day. So I've seen it grow from the Prince Charles days to the Odeon West End to the Empire to the View and now to Notting Hill, and I love it.
It's interesting here because there's no sort of like class system with anyone. It's just like you can talk to any director, actor, anyone, and everyone's just kind of at the same level, which is really nice. I've had an amazing experience here. All the genre fans are really smart. All your journalists write very thoughtful things, and it's a total blast. I mean, I think they both have their pluses and minuses, but Frightfest is truly special.
With just over 70 films later and panels galore, Frightfest wrapped in style. There was a colourful amalgamation of genre fans, both old and new, and a place for talented filmmakers to share their passions with audiences who just love horror.